Senator, thank you so much for joining us. Back in 2016, you met with Merrick Garland. You signed a letter urging to allow him to get a hearing. What is different this time around?
Well, the difference is that Mitch McConnell and, frankly, a whole lot of big money interests behind him are all about getting and keeping power, and it doesn't matter what they said. I mean, hypocrisy really is not, unfortunately, a concern of theirs. It's about controlling the courts in our country and making sure that the folks that they want in there that will side with the polluters and those who want to take away health care and a woman's right to choose and collective bargaining for workers to be able to collectively bargain for their wages and benefits and so on. They want to take away people's freedoms and rights that we know in America have been a foundation of who we are, voting rights and on and on and on. And so, Stephanie, let me first say it's always good to be with you. And I do have to always start by saying that I continue to grieve over this loss and that, you know, we can't jump over what we have lost here, but we also know that in her name, we have to rise up and fight back and push to make sure that these corporate interests that Mitch McConnell and the right wing do not ultimately control the freedoms and the future of our country.
Then what does rising up and doing what's right look like? Mitch McConnell does have power and control. Is there anything you can do to stop this?
I think there's two things, and I really keep emphasizing the one that I don't think we're focused on enough. First of all, nobody has to tell the Democrats in the United States Senate, any of us, me, the leader, anybody, how serious this is. We know how serious this is. We take this responsibility to do everything we can with the limited procedural options that we have. And we certainly will use all of those. But I remember back in January of 2017 when the president and the Senate Republicans said they were going to take away the Affordable Care Act. We didn't have the votes. We were in the same kind of situation as now. We could have just said, we can't do anything. But we started rallies. I remember the biggest rally on health care was in Michigan in January of 2017. And 10,000 people outside, Bernie Sanders, Cecile Richards, Chuck Schumer, myself, and others. We started this effort to mobilize people. And we used what we could do to give people more time to speak out and mobilize. And then the surprising thing happened, that we were able to stop the repeal in the United States Senate. We should not overlook this. There are 4 senators, Republican senators, who decide to step up and be the John McCain of this fight, to stop them taking away health care and people's right to pre-existing conditions and women's reproductive choice and everything else. We cannot skip that. You know, people have already started voting. This Thursday, they start voting in Michigan. They've already started voting across the country. People should have the right to vote for who they want as president and the next United States Senate to fill this vacancy. And they're trying to take away that right for people. And people should not take this lightly. So we shouldn't just assume that there's no power in speaking up and pushing back. A lot of these senators are in states that essentially are majority pro-choice states. They're in states where people want their health care, where they may now have COVID-19 and they have a new pre-existing condition. I mean, all of the things that are at stake. In Michigan, it's about our beloved Great Lakes and whether or not we're going to have a Supreme Court that sides with the polluters or protects our water. And so I don't want us to skip over that while we know this is not easy. We know that. We know in theory they've got the votes. Mitch McConnell can call the vote anytime that he wants to. But the reality is he could have done that on the ACA. And because people rose up and spoke out, they stopped him. I'm not naive. I'm not naive in the least, Stephanie. But I do know what happens when people galvanize. So it's the voting now, and it's speaking up loudly about not taking away the fundamental freedoms and rights that we have in the United States of America. And that's what's on the line right now.
Then take us behind the scenes as you look for the next John McCain. Mitch McConnell can't be persuaded, but to your point, he can't do this alone. He has already lost 2 Republicans. Are you talking to any of your Republican colleagues who you know well, who you have worked with for years, and trying to convince them?
Yes, all of us have relationships. You know, I work across the aisle all the time and get things done with colleagues, and all of us are reaching out on not only the process, and what people said in the past. I don't think, unfortunately, that will be enough to get most folks to change their minds. It's about the consequences of what this means to our country in every part of our lives. And it's also the fact that people, as I said before, are already voting. They're voting. They will pick the direction of our country. The direction of our country will be set within the next 6 weeks. And they're going to take away people's ability to have a say on how they want us to go forward. That's a pretty big deal. So there's a lot of discussion going on.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.